talk. You might hear a little echo in there. I'm sorry about that. We'll get that fixed, I guess. But as I say, this is Brother Dr. McGriff of Love Sync Ministries, and this is Love Session. And I got a very, 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 very special guest coming on with me today. Before I bring her on, I would like to let you know that, hey, if you like the shows or want to see the shows or even go back to see some of our other shows, I would definitely like you to go out to YouTube, go to Love Sync Ministry, just like the sign behind me. Just spell Love Sync with no space. On Facebook, they got a space on it, but on YouTube, it's Love Sync Ministry. Subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff they always say on all these other shows. And so we can build up that YouTube page with more stuff we're going to put out there, start getting the followers and the subscribers up and make things happen. So at this time, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I want to go ahead and bring on a very special guest. Young lady I've been knowing for a couple of years now, she's all right, you know what I'm saying? But ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Miss Deidre McGrew. Here you come. There you go.
You got to say one thing.
What I forget to
You're
say?
supposed to say, my wife, Miss Deidre McGriff.
Yeah, they don't, like the song says, yeah, they don't know that by now. They'll never know.
Hey, you never know. It may be somebody out there who's never met me before.
Yeah. So, how's everything going?
Complaints. I can't complain. It's all. I'm
So
grateful.
good.
It's all good and it's good.
All righty then. I probably need to hear, let me see, on the Facebook page. Let me see what's going on. Because I need to know if they can hear us. Echo to be real bad. All right, there we go. So if the echo is too bad for you, let us know here on Facebook Live, just in there, and we will see what's up. See what they're talking about. Okay, that's if you want to do that. Okay, I see what's going on. All right, man. So just like everybody else, let's get this party started. And the first thing I want to do is to get you warmed up, get your juices flowing and everything. I'm gonna go ahead and ask you some quick questions here.
Yes, sir.
And that way we can get you going. Number one, where were you born?
Louisiana.
What city were you born?
Dale High.
Okay, yeah, whatever that is. All right. And let's ask you, what is your favorite sports team?
The Dallas Cowboys. Decal for life. The good, the bad, the good, the sweet.
All right. And I guess they were like, well, why would you be asking that? But who was your high school crush?
Which one? There were two.
Well, hey, you say both of them, people, that's up to you.
Oh, gosh, I would say this guy named Keith. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. And also, what would be your favorite decade to live in? 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s? Are you happy with the 2000s?
80s.
80s? All right. And last one is, what is your favorite song, singer, or group?
Favorite song, singer, group. Ooh, that's a hard one. Well, I love Whitney Houston's music. I used to love her music, but I used to love Barry White too, and I still love his music, Barry White. So I guess I have to put my Barry White at the top.
All right, cool. All right, then I do like I always do, because this is once again Love Sessions, and as our foundational scripture say for our ministry, 1 John 4:8, he that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. So this is Love Session or God Session. So that's the next. We're going to talk about what God is all here, which is God. So as I ask everyone, when did you get saved?
Well, it was in the 90s. Yeah, it was in the 90s.
And how old were you?
Oof, I probably was about 22, 23.
22, 23?
Yeah.
So was this before college, after college, or what?
After college.
After college.
Mhm.
All right. So you've been saved since you was 23. And then when now were you a serious, did you have your backsliding moments too?
Well, I think it was a combination. I started off as a serious one, but there's things that, I mean, I've been all the sure, especially in those early years, but I tried my best to stay on there. Now, it don't mean that you didn't do everything right. So, yeah, I'm sure that was all the way in the early years, for sure. So,
All right, all right. Well, I hope everybody is hearing everything out there, okay? Like I said, if you can't hear us and you're watching us on Facebook, let me know. Or if the echo is too much, let me know there too, okay? Appreciate it. All right. So now, so you said you did some backsliding and all that kind of stuff. So if that's the case, then when did you start taking your walk with God serious?
well, I feel it was serious from day one. I think that. Um, just like anything, that I had to learn a lot more disciplines, you know what I mean? And the first 2 years, 3 years is always for me, I can't speak of anybody else. There was some serious disciplines need to be learned. And just like any new Christian, I was very young and a lot of stuff I wasn't trying to hear yet. I was, my dress code was horrible. And certain things I wasn't ready to, not to say you have to be all stuffy and old, but I mean, there's a lot of stuff I had to work through. And so the first few years were very bumpy. God was trying to get me, kind of get my mind renewed to a new way of thinking. So it's like old rebellious horse, go on with things. And so, a little bit older, time, you submit and you become, you know, more involved in this relationship. This relationship becomes more serious, right? And so you just, you learn that father knows best. So, but I don't always know father knows best. I wanted to know father why I think he should do this way and that way. And slowly over time, I start to say, you know what, Father knows best, and then I have to learn how to let Him do the lead, and I do the follow. Not always that way first, though.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you this again since you went through all that. So if that's the case, like I said, so when did, like I said, so when did it click in that like, something, this is the life I'm gonna lead. So from this point forward, I mean, like I said, we're all a work in progress, so there's gonna be some mistakes made. But I'm saying, when is it that this is it? This is where I'm gonna live and live my life for God, you know, and that's from this point forward is when I'm going. How old?
3 or 4 years.
So how old?
I probably would have to be about 26 at the time, like 26, somewhere like that. Yeah.
Okay.
hmm
And then that's when you say, hey, from this point on, pushing forward with God, no backslide, no nothing like that.
Got pretty serious about it. I did. I was like, I'm tired of messing stuff up. So.
And so at what age did I meet?
Well, ooh, gee, it had to be the 20s. Yeah, it was in the 20s, but yeah, we were in our 20s when we met. Yeah.
No, wait, you mean you were in your 20s? Definitely wasn't in mine. So how long? So if you start getting serious at 26,
Right, right.
what year was that?
Oh my gosh, honey.
90s.
Yes, yes.
So we met in the 90s, we didn't get married in 2000.
Right, right.
So what was your, so now that you're serious,
Mm-hmm.
so as a single mom, we didn't get into that part.
Right, right.
And that was one of your things that happened, in that period of time. But now as a single, oh, go then, as a single woman in the church, how were you treated?
Uh,
With a child, my bad. A single woman in church with a child, how were you treated?
I went to a church that I felt that they were really loving. The only time I kind of had my feelings hurt. Most everybody was very loving at the church I was at for many years, but one time I had this guy that I kind of really liked, and the mother didn't. I knew she didn't want me to date him because I had a child, and her preference was that he be with someone who didn't have a child. So that was a very first time harsh reality that everybody not going to welcome, someone with a child. You know?
Okay, so there was a person that goes to church that you were
Right,
dating, but the church as a whole, when
right.
when you went to different, whether you went to different churches or had gone to different churches, as far as which one you were going to join or who you were going to be with. So as a single mother in those particular ministries, how did they treat you?
I like I said, my experience was good. Everybody was nice and loving. They did like, praying for me that I found a nice husband. But everybody was very nice and loving. I had a very good experience.
Okay, and then now you are a single Christian mother, and now you're dating. So how does that work in dating and being a Christian lady and having a male son at home? So how do you navigate that with men or bringing men home or having men meet your son?
Oh, I was very, very strict. I, from the minute I found out I was pregnant, I kind of did a 360. I mean, like, I would talk to guys and be like, I would never let them come to my house or anything. Like, they're like, man, I've been talking to you this long. You don't even let somebody come. I'm serious. I didn't let nobody come to my house. Like, they didn't know where I lived. I would meet people out, but I was very strict because I just wasn't comfortable. You know? I was very strict, very strict. I was very funny. Didn't like coming in. I don't know if it's gonna work. So no, you can't come to my house. That's how it was. Yeah. It took a lot for me. My son probably rarely saw anybody because I was always it would be a meet out. You know,
Mhm.
yeah. Because I felt I had to protect my son because like, what if this relationship doesn't work? And I didn't really like all these people. I didn't want him to be getting, like meeting somebody, getting word. I just didn't want to do that. That was just something that I would just have a zero tolerance for. And that was just me. That was just my weirdness or how I felt about it. I was very, very strict with
Okay. So then, as a single woman, being a Christian and dating,
that.
so how was that scene of dating? Because I know probably not just men from the church were trying to talk to you, but men outside the church were trying to talk to you. So how do you navigate that as a single Christian mom?
Well, very little room for someone that wasn't in as a Christian and shared the same beliefs and values because I knew it was going to be an issue. I kind of like knew that this was just going to be a lost cause because if they didn't have the same core values, I'm like, it's not going to go anywhere. So, occasionally date, with someone who wasn't a Christian or have the same views, but I didn't waste so much time on because I kind of knew like the end result was it was not going to go anywhere. So I did like waste my time. So I'm like, I don't want to do this too much because they don't have the same core values and it's just not going to go anywhere. So again, occasionally for fun, but not anything where I was putting a lot of time or very serious and was not someone that I thought potentially down the road it could be something, future wise.
And so, like I said, I know a lot of single, whether it's men or women, when they do start dating and they do kind of, start stretching out maybe 6 months, 8 months, going into a year. So how do you then deal with the sexual aspect of dating as a single Christian woman with a child? Because You know, it all starts with holding hands, then kissing, and then touching. So how do you as a Christian single woman and with a child? So how does that aspect play into do you? Cause, and what's so crazy about it is because at that time I was single living in Fort Worth, and I know that I was dealing with some women that were single, and when it came to the sex thing, you know, a lot of them was like, "Hey, I'm having sex because I want to make sure that the man I marry gonna know what he's doing." And I'm like, "Whoa, that's right." The whole wait till you get married stuff is already out the window. So then, like, so how did you deal with that?
Well, I embraced that absence because it was something that I wanted to change. You know, I had did things my way, and I see that my way, obviously wasn't very smart because none of my way worked. So I actually embraced that, that change. It's like learning all over again. Have a relationship and practicing abstinence and that. I actually embraced that. I really did. It was a good change. Not that it was easy all the time because emotionally you go from the lifestyle that you had, right? And then you're going to a whole different lifestyle. So that's really adjustment. And as I said, it's not easy. But I did want things to be different. I was like, you know what? I want to try God's way this time. And I kind of embraced that difference. Not that it's always easy, but I kind of embraced that. And I just kind of, I think for me, because I spent a lot of time just by myself. Like I got to feel like I did take time out for myself for a while and just really trying to grow in my relationship with God more and just His Word, depending on Him, allowing Him to be my husband and Him, and I'm telling you, that really helped me. That really helped me. I think it set a very good foundation for my spiritual walk even today. I think that sometimes, there's a period of time where we all have to do that. And it was new, it was different. Not that it was always emotional, we're emotional creatures, right? But it's the best thing that ever happened to me because it set a really good spiritual foundation for my life. And that still exists today because of it.
Well, as I listened to you, it's about 4 or 5 times you said it wasn't easy. So if you're saying it wasn't easy, you know what that means, right?
Well, I think you kind of taking that different. Not so much. I don't mean so people always think you're easy. They probably think you're talking in sexual tone when you say not easy. No, I mean emotionally. When you have this new life, you have to do things different, and you can't keep putting yourself in positions where you could be emotionally tied to someone because it could lead to other things. So that's what I mean. Because we're emotional creatures, right? And that touchy feely emotional. I think that's a part to learn to be very careful with that because if you're trying to stay on a certain path, absolutely do things, you definitely have to start learning how to do things different. You know what I mean? Fun, clean fun, and not so much the emotional aspect of it. So that's what I
So what you're trying to tell me, you ain't had no slip ups then. Huh?
Why you asking me that?
Hey, this is love session, God session. God rejoices in the truth.
Well, I'm not gonna get on saying nothing ever happened that I haven't slipped up, but I
Okay.
put it like this. I practiced absence a lot of years. Yeah, yeah. But did I do it 100% perfection? No. Did I practice absence a lot of years straight? Yes, I did, to be honest. But I wish I would have kept it to perfection.
So now you live your life as a
Mhm.
single woman, you
Right.
live your life as a single saved woman, you live your life as a single saved woman with a child, then you start as a single saved woman with a child, then you're a single saved woman and then you got married. So now how did getting how did your walk with God help you in being
I think, first learning to commit to Him, as a spiritual representation, leader, husband, whatever. It kind of helps bring a certain order in your life. Um, I needed that. I needed order. I didn't have that natural parent, natural father. And so I think that having, a godly parent, a spiritual parent, it kind of helped me with organize my life in some areas that desperately needed it. Oh my God, just order that I desperately needed. And I think that that relationship helped me because, first there's God, then there's the husband and children. So I think it kind of helped me to kind of organize my life better, to bring more order into my life, that I wouldn't have, and a lot of it, to be honest with you, I started asking God. Kind of was like he was like the teacher too to me. I leaned on him for everything to teach me what was the order of everything for the husband, the children. So he kind of that was like my trainer, the Holy Spirit. God, I really asked God for wisdom to help me. So he kind of helped me to put all of that in the perspective to the husband, the children, and all that.
So how long have you been married now?
Oh, 20 years. Wow.
20 years. So then what kind of changes do you see that you made uh, with your walk with God that help you or change along with in your
Um, I think that just the love and the forgiveness, with you know, 'cause when you have people who are so different, like we're so different, we're like night and day. I think that we learn how God's love, the Father's love, and how He loves us so unconditionally, and just how He cares and loves us. And when you experience that, and you experience His forgiveness over and over again, even at times where I didn't even feel deserving, it helps you in your relationship with your spouse. It helps your relationship with others because you're like, man, I know I need to just squash this man off. God gave me um, for me, it translated into my natural relationship because I'm like, man, I don't have no right. All the stuff God is doing with it, with you, man, just chill, like squash it. There we go. I'm telling you that when he loves me so good. He just loves me so good that really does make me, don't miss the small, you know. Not everybody has love it because it's grace and love, it makes you need to say, you know what, I don't have no right to be judging or holding anybody. So,
Well, I'd just like to say that, like I said, after 20 years of being married, and but only 5 years of walking the love walk. So for me, those first years were kind of, well, I had been married before, so I kind of knew what I was getting into.
mhm.
And so like I said, knowing the word was cool, leaning on God was cool, but there still was some rough times, tough times, crazy times, and all that kind of stuff. But with both of us having a foundation of God, that was the rock. Like you said, that was the rock. So no matter what happened, that was the glue that held everything together. Then the last 5 years with the love walk, that helped me know how to love me to be able to love you better. That's why like I said, that one morning when I got up and prayed, that's why I prayed, God, you know, when she looks at me, have her to see the you in me. So I can be that walking example of God to you, just like how we want to be to everybody else. And so people say, and I didn't get it then, how people would say that I love you more today than I did when we got married. And I'm like, how can you do that? You loved her, you got married because you loved her. So how can you love somebody more now than you did then? And now after 20 years, I know because when you first got married, y'all haven't gone through anything together yet. You just met, you did your courting thing, your little dating thing and stuff, and you fell in love, you got married. But now, 20 years, not now that you got past the dating and the courting and all that kind of stuff, and then the finances and the medical and the this and that and the job and the kids and the family and all that other kind of stuff that gets involved with it. And through all that stuff, you two are still together. Then you've gone through some things. You fought some battles together, and you're still together as one. So that's now I understand how people say I love you more today than I did when I first married you, because you go through so much together. When you turn around and you think about the people that you was married either before us or around the same time as us, or even after us, and most of them are not even married anymore. So that lets you know that that strong bond of love, aka God, is the thing that's holding everything together. And long as we know that God has us, and that we love ourselves the way God loves us, then there's nothing that we can't handle. So then we got all that.
Yeah, you're so good with me. Oh man, I'm telling you, you're really good with me. And I joke with you, but you're so good with me. I'm telling you, you're just
Well,
good with me.
well, let's get into what we got left here. So I'm going to bring up both of these right there. So let's get into the author part of you that you've already written 2 books. So we got the first one there. We got
My
in
baby.
the Forever Free series. First one there with the green and the purple. You don't have to be in jail to be locked up. And then we have the purple one. God saying it's been me all the time. So do you want to go ahead and talk about those 2 real quick?
Whew, I tell you, I feel like so much of my life, my everything I've learned, it's been poured out in those books, man. You're talking about my life work, man. Boy, I tell you, it's a lot of my life work been poured out. You know, when I first started that journey of Forever Free, man, so much God, that He taught me, of how to stay free in Him, when you follow Him on that path and how to stay, free. Um, and also just I think with that first book, just that road map. I mean, it's like a compass and guide. How do we stay free? Because it's so easy to get locked up. You see my subtitle, you don't have to be in jail to be locked up. And so all of these situations come and try to get us bound. And it's a book that's so applicable to almost anyone because there's always an obstacle. I call it the modern day Pharaoh Satan. He's always on the prowl to get you locked up or bound in some situation, some circumstance. And I love that book because it definitely is a roadmap of how to follow Christ, not just individually, but corporately in the body of Christ. How or to remain free in Him. And I mean, it's one of the biggest issues that we all have is we allow ourselves to be bound by circumstances and everything. And God wants us to be just like His people. We have to have just easy rest and so when we're whole, we're just relying on Him. And this was application. And that's why I said this is how people not only something about these people, showing the character out and so very strong. It's really all the time. That's my recent book, and I feel like, man, you talk about getting your faith. That book will help you if you struggle with anything. You need to have your faith up, your confidence in God. I'm telling you, that book, the testimonies are just so raw, because it gives you what happened to me and how I used to work to be brought off with those situations. You know, I mean, you see the different attributes of God, 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 love, God, how right when I need to step, I got help. Not only that, but also go out and God, help. So, life, God, help. Help. Uh, this book all the time. This God, fail some of the lies.
that's the case, go ahead and tell them real quick where they can get those 2 books right now.
Amazon.com. And when you type my name in, to find it by my name, you type in Deidra, Deidra, and McGriff, McGriff, and it brings all my books. And you forever the first edition, you want to make sure it has subtitles. You don't have to be in jail to be locked up because this book was released. And you want to get that.
All right, and then let them know what else you got coming up.
Well, that's next week. You gotta be.
So you're gonna make that announcement next week. All right. All right. Cool. Well, honey bunches of oats, I appreciate you being on with me today, spending your time with me, and I guess we'll do this again another time, and I guess we'll have to get back to doing love talking. Both of us are on there. So if you're ready to do that, just let me know. But right now, I'm gonna kick you to the curb, get rid of you. You got to go. Hey, you know what they used to say? You don't have to go home, but you got to get up out of here. So tell everybody bye, and we will talk to you next time. All right. Adios, amigos. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the Miss Deidra McGriff with both of her books. And that is, the first one was You Don't Have to Be in Jail to Be Locked Up. And the second one was It's Been Me All the Time. Go to Amazon.com, put her name in the search bar, window, whatever you want to call it. The books that come up, and just make sure you just go ahead and get them, order them for Christmas, whatever, just for good reading. You're already at home because you can't go anywhere anyway. So go ahead and get both of those books right there on Amazon.com. And if you want to get a signed autograph copy sent to you, just guess they can email you or go to her Facebook page at foreverfreenow.com. Give her a message that you want to order a book and get one autograph, and she can go ahead and take care of that for you. Make sure again, this is on Facebook and also on YouTube. The one on YouTube, it takes like I think a whole 24 hours before the video appears on the YouTube page. But we want to go ahead and take advantage of that. So you can always see everything on Facebook, and we would like you to go to YouTube, as they say, like and subscribe, so we can build this subscription up, get things going and popping, so we can also start doing giveaways for you guys. So we love to give away money because when we did our Love Sync Ministry meetings, we always gave the credit cards or the gift cards away every meeting. We used to give like three a meeting away. So we love to give away money. So if you get over there to YouTube and subscribe and like and all that kind of good stuff, then that way, if it starts building money, then we can start giving away money. And we love doing that. So once again, this has been Brother Darrell McGriff with Love Sync Ministries. This is Love Lessons. Again, just hit that notification bell and everything, subscribe, and also just look for on Facebook when I send out the flyer saying who the guests are going to be. Until then, remember 1 John 4:8, he that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. So we want you to be that walking representation here on earth, constant and consistent, showing those that saved and unsaved love every day. Until next time, you guys take care and walk in